866-582-9933. That's the call-in number for today's show. Lines are open. Give me a shout. 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. And, of course, if you're listening to the podcast, that number, 855-347-3696, 855-347-3696. I want to finish up on that thought, that last thought that I had with Mike Randolph. You know, growing up in the 60s and the 70s, there was a cultural meme going around that we were on the verge of some big change. Some big change was going to happen, right? First of all, everyone thought it was going to be the year 2000, right? That didn't happen. Then everyone predicted, well, maybe it's going to happen in 2012, right? The Mayan calendar, well, that didn't happen. And you know, there's all of this talk about extrasolar planets, and they're wheeling back through the center of the solar system, causing tectonic shifts in the poles, and all of this other stuff. The dawning of the age of Aquarius, whatever that means. You know, the Nostradamus predictions, the end of the world scenarios talked about by a couple of major world religions. There's been this meme, a cultural meme in the background, especially if you were, you know, coming of age in the 60s and the 70s. It's always been there. It's in the back of everybody's mind. And, well, you know, maybe it's not going to be a catastrophic pole shift. Maybe it will be. Who knows? I mean, nobody knows, right? All I can tell you is what I see, what's right in front of my face. Can you imagine what it's going to be like when, instead of 200 multi-million-dollar longevity earners, there are 10,000? Can you imagine what it's going to be like when thousands of people all around the world have recovered their health to such a degree through following longevity's boilerplate health recovery protocols and cleaning up their diets appropriately, when tens of thousands of people around the world have made themselves so healthy that they can safely, effectively, and easily stop taking all prescription medications, and their health starts to improve every year instead of getting worse? Can you imagine what that's going to be like? All of a sudden, everything's going to shift. This is, you know, it's like a jumbo jet that's taking off on the tarmac. First, it's not moving at all, and then it lumbers down the runway slower, and then faster, and then faster, and then faster, and then faster, but still on the runway. It's got to pick up a ton of speed and go, you know, a quarter of a mile, half a mile before even the nose lifts off. But the plane's still on the runway, and then all of a sudden, boom, all of that momentum that carried it forward to that moment in time all coalesces and comes together, and boom, in 10 seconds it's 3,000 feet up in the air. Boom, just like that. That's what's going to happen here eventually. It's only a matter of time until our message percolates to enough people that everybody in the world gets a clue. And that's what we're up to, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you come along for the ride. I hope you come along right now. We can't make stock predictions. Well, that's illegal, right? But, you know, wouldn't you love to have been, you know, Steve Jobs' next-door neighbor, or Bill Gates' next-door neighbor, or, you know, the guy that founded Nike? Wouldn't you have loved to have been his best friend in high school? Imagine how well off you'd be now if you bought $5,000 of Macintosh stock, or Apple stock, or Microsoft stock, or Nike stock when it first went public. Imagine that. Well, not only do you have stock options that are available to you, you know, just as a consumer, you can buy stock anywhere you want. Longevity is a publicly traded company. You don't have to be a member of Longevity. You don't have to do anything with the company at all. Just buy the stock and sit on it and wait. And you can join us and augment your income while you're collecting stock options. I'm telling you, this is a very good time to become involved with longevity, not just because of the health issue, but because of the wealth issue and where we are at in the company's growth. Check it out, fireyourmdnow.com. Click on the longevity button and join Team Glidden. Let's go to California now and talk to Shirley, who's been holding on for the entire first segment. Thanks so much for the call, Shirley. You are live.
Yes, thank you. You talked to me last Monday, and I'm still working with depression and also the bone on the hip. So I've been taking all of these products. It's been over 4 months now, and you told me to take 8 instead of 5 of the glucogel last Monday, and then you said take.
I told you to do 8, 8, and 8, right?
8 and then
5, and 5.
4 selenium. I was only doing 3 and 3, and then I've already been doing the 4 with the sweeties. I didn't notice any difference in anything. So, and then you said to do 4 ounces during the day instead of the morning and night of the Osteo FX. So I did that best as I could, and I don't know what I was supposed to notice, and I don't know.
So this is you're a very unique individual here, Shirley, and the situation is that if you're growing a flower in your backyard and the flower is struggling, and you repot the flower in the appropriate soil with the appropriate fertilizer and give it the right amount of water every day, you're going to expect the flower to bloom the way that nature intended to. You're going to expect to see growth that you were not seeing before. Well, there's no magic here. It's the same thing with Youngevity's science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition approach. When we apply the therapeutics appropriately, we expect to see something positive happen. And normally, it's a 90-day window inside of which people realize specific and measurable noticeable change. Usually it's a 90-day window. So you're telling me that you've been on the products for 4 months, which is 120 days, not 90 days. It's more than 90 days, and that you haven't experienced any benefit whatsoever. Has anything in your body, mind improved to a remarkable degree in 120 days? Anything at all? Sleep, appetite, mood, energy, bowel movements? Has anything improved or nothing?
Nothing. I believe in the products, and I believe what Dr. Wallach says. I just bought the book Dead Doctors Don't Lie yesterday to start going through that, and I listened to the tape over and over, and I'm getting all the calcium or cartilage I can from chickens and eating chicken skins and doing eggs and butter every morning, and I should be taking eggs at night. I can't get 2 more down, but so I don't, and I did you mentioned that water hydrotherapy for the large colon, and I did that last week, and of course she said it'd take 2 or 3 times. I don't want to do that again, but anyway, I couldn't feel any difference from that. I'm worried that a lot of the nutrients aren't getting absorbed, and maybe it'll just take longer. Well,
the only time, it's a point well taken, right? The only time that medical nutrition fails is relative to when drugs fail. Drugs create an action on the body. Oftentimes it's not the desired action, but they do create a biochemical action on the body. So, it's a point well taken. If your doctor told you needed 30 milligrams of an antibiotic twice a day to cure up a sinus infection, if you took 10 milligrams of the antibiotic once a day, it wouldn't work. And that doesn't mean that antibiotics don't work. It means that you just didn't take enough. Well, if you're taking enough of medical nutrition, but you're still not experiencing any positive effects whatsoever, then the only logical conclusion is that your body has trouble absorbing them. Now, trouble absorbing them, of course, is a decades-long problem which has grown and built upon itself from a facultative breakdown in the small intestine, where the food that we've been eating for so many years has slowly chipped away at the absorbability quotient, at the small intestine's ability to absorb nutrients into the body. So you could be taking the exactly appropriate amount of nutrients into your body, but your body's just not absorbing it. Why? Because the villi have been destroyed or harmed because of so many years of unwittingly eating all of the wrong food, which again would be your MD's fault, because it's your medical doctor's job to take care of your health, and they have let you down here. So, parenthetically, the only possible thing that I can think that's going wrong here is that your body isn't absorbing the nutrients sufficiently, and you just need to give the program more time. Now, that's why I wanted you to increase everything, because your body can absorb things. if it couldn't absorb anything, you'd be dead, right? So your body is absorbing things, but the rationale behind wanting you to up the ante with your supplements was to give your body more nutrients so that it could absorb them in appropriate levels, and so you'd get more bang for your buck, so to speak, right? So, I'm up against a rock and a hard place, Shirley. The only thing that I can possibly imagine that's going wrong here is you need to give the program more time, because your body's digestive tract is having a hard time absorbing nutrients, because of decades of consuming all of the wrong food. But that's really the only thing that's popping up to the forefront of my mind here. What do you think about that?
Okay, so I can just go back to, selenium, like 3 and 3 a day? Is that?
Yeah, tell me I'll tell you the optimal program based on your body weight. How much do you weigh?
130, so I'm doing...
All right, so the optimal thing for you would be 9 selenium a day, 3, 3, and 3, and I would do 15 glucogel a day, 5, 5, and 5, right? Because you're 130 and you've got a bone-on-bone thing. So I would dose you at the 150-pound rate with the glucogel. Take 9 selenium a day, take 15 glucogel a day, do 2 ounces of the white liquid calcium a day, 1 scoop of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 3 times a day, and I would do 8 of the Sweeties a day, 4 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. That's what I would do moving forward. And really the only thing that I can consider as a possibility here, and really, when you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains has to be so. I just think you need to give the program more time, Shirley. And you also might want to write down a list of all the niddly-piddly things that are bothering you, because sometimes when the little niddly-piddly things disappear, you forget that they were even there in the first place. And so you don't really have a perspective on your improvement. Give it a try, Shirley. Call me back once a month, and we'll try to dial this in more effectively for you. Stick around, folks. We're going to Oregon when we come back. Yeah, that's right. Who's coming to the rescue? Youngevity's coming to the rescue, specifically Team Glidden. Check it out. FireYourMDNow.com. Click on the Youngevity button, or give us a call. 855-347-3696. That's the support number to call. If you're listening to the podcast, want more information about what we're up to, 855-347-3696, or, simply point and click your way into health and wealth at FireYourMDNow.com, and then hit the Youngevity button, just like Michael from Oregon did. Hey, Michael, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
How you doing? I'm a first-time caller. I'm 48 years old, and I'm calling regarding a multiple kidney stones issue I'm having now, and I've had a loss of a little bit of bone from one tooth, and I have a mucus from milk problem, too, that I've switched to rice milk, and it's cleared up with the mucus issue. But
that's interesting. Michael, are you blood type O?
I'm A positive.
That's even more interesting to me. So what went away when you switched from cow's milk to rice milk?
The mucus did.
Yeah, so what did you have, like chronic sinusitis or postnasal drip, or what was going on?
Well, I've had multiple kidney stones. I passed one in March, and I just passed one about a week ago. And
well, yeah, but that's different than a mucus. When you say a mucus problem, what are you talking about?
Just mucus in the throat.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, good. Yeah, we're on the same page then. Okay. So, passing a kidney stone, that's what was the pain factor like when you did that?
The one I passed in March, I'd say it was about a 9-level pain, and the one I passed last week was probably about a 7.5, 8-level pain.
Yeah, okay. All right, so let me give you our take on that, which is a good take, and it's a prudent take, and it is 100% opposite the knuckleheaded MD's take. And really, this brings into sharp focus the old-fashioned, outdated, monopolistic, Machiavellian, cowardly way that MDs have been trained to look at the world, right? And it's a good metaphor. I always use it. I'm going to keep using it until I think up another one. If you were to go outside and look at the sun rise and set, not knowing anything about astronomy, you could reasonably conclude that the sun goes around the Earth. And, you know, you could even calculate where the sun's going to be tomorrow at a particular time, and you'd be right. But the sun doesn't go around the Earth. It's the Earth revolving on its axis, which makes the sun appear to move. And so if you tried to shoot a rocket from the Earth and hit the sun, you'd miss every time because you didn't understand what was really going on. Well, MDs don't understand what's really going on, and they have an incorrect perspective on many of the metabolic processes which happen in the human body. And in the MD profession, it becomes like a ship of fools, because one MD says that kidney stones are caused by too much calcium in the blood, and then 10 MDs say that kidney stones are caused by too much calcium in the blood, and then 100 MDs say that kidney stones are caused by too much calcium in the blood, and then every MD in the world says it, and it just becomes reality by consensus. Nobody questions it. Because, oh, that's what I was taught in medical school, and my medical professor knew everything there was to know, and it's nonsense. Kidney stones take months, if not years, to form, and kidney stones are caused by a deficiency in calcium diet. A deficiency in calcium. Little technical difficulty there, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for that. Mercury is retrograde after all. Don't worry, it's all going to straighten out after July 20th. So, Michael, we're coming up against a hard break here, man. Can you stick with me through the break and I can pick this up on the other end?
Uh-huh.
All right, Michael, stick with me, and I'm going to tell you the real cause of kidney stones and a better way to manage the passage thereof. And, even more importantly, science-based, clinically verified methods to support and promote the structure and function of your kidney so that they don't happen again. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, ladies and gentlemen, and this is Fire Your MD Now. Yeah, I love that tune, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're feeling well today. Hope you want to invest in your health so that you can feel well for the remainder of your life and make it a long life. Live long and prosper. That should be our motto here, even though that one was already taken. Live long and prosper with longevity. And Team Glidden, fireyourmdnow.com. Click on the longevity button and join the revolution. We're talking to Michael in Oregon about kidney stones. Hey, Michael, we're back. Are you still with me?
I sure am.
All right, very good. So here's the deal, right? From our point of view, if you burn somebody's body, if you cremate a dead body, 1/3 of the ash is calcium. Your body's need for calcium is massive. You need about 1,200 milligrams or more, depending on your body weight, to go down the hatch in your food and your drink every day, 1,200 milligrams a day. And it's impossible to get 1,200 milligrams a day from food and drink because calcium is a mineral, and because it's a mineral, it's only found in one place. It's found in the soil. Sometimes it's in the water, but then it's washed there from the soil. So unless you're eating crops that have grown on soil that has calcium in them, there ain't no calcium in your spinach or your tomato. And unless the cow, you're not drinking cow's milk anymore, unless the rice plant was growing in soil that had calcium in it, there ain't no calcium in the rice. So there's going to be no calcium in the rice juice. And by the way, it should be called rice juice, not rice milk. Milk is a misnomer. There's not nearly enough nutrients in rice milk or soy milk or almond milk to compare to what's in cow's milk. Now, you had a negative reaction to cow's milk. A lot of people do. I'm not recommending you go back on cow's milk. I'm just saying that you've been played here a little bit by the food industry because they shouldn't be calling it milk. It's entirely misleading. But my point is, it's very, very easy to become deficient in dietary calcium. Now, when you're deficient in dietary calcium for a long enough time consistently, your body freaks out. And so your body says, holy smokes, I'm not getting enough calcium from the food that this guy's eating, so I'm going to have to steal it from my body's stores. And so these little glands on the side of your thyroid act up, called the parathyroid gland. They secrete a hormone called parathormone. And when there's parathormone in your blood, it sucks calcium out of your bones and puts it into your circulation so that your body can use it. Now, if you drop a rock on your foot, heaven forbid, your foot will start to swell. And unless you put ice on it, the swelling can become an out-of-control deleterious prospect. If you ice it and keep the swelling under control, a little bit of swelling is beneficial for healing to begin. But if you don't ice it and the swelling becomes kind of a runaway train, it can take way longer for your body to heal from that bruise than if you manage the swelling appropriately. So I'm telling you this by way of letting you know that not everything is perfectly dialed in the body. The body doesn't have every single solitary mechanism 100% perfect. Like swelling, it can become a runaway train, and there's things you have to do externally to dampen it down. Well, it's the same way with this calcium metabolism thing. When you've been deficient in calcium for a number of consecutive days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc., for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, your parathyroid gland says, screw it, and it just dumps all of its hormone into the blood all of the time. Now, when that happens, it's called a parathormone storm, so to speak. That's what I call it. And then you get massive amounts of calcium flooding into your bloodstream. And when you have a calcium storm like this, that's what causes a kidney stone, because you shouldn't have that much calcium in your bloodstream. It's way too much. And all of your blood gets filtered through the kidney. So when you have massive, and I mean massive amounts of calcium flooding into your kidney, it gets gummed up. And it gets gummed up and forms into a kidney stone, and that's how a kidney stone forms. Ironically, it forms from chronic deficiencies in nutritional calcium. Now, an MD will draw your blood, look at the calcium levels in the blood, and the calcium levels are too high. And then they misinterpret the data the same way that you could misinterpret the sunrise and the sunset and say, oh, it's the sun that goes around the earth. Well, no, it's not. The calcium in the blood is too high because of the presence of the parathormone. And the only reason the parathormone was excreted to the extent that it was, giving you too much calcium in the blood, is because you had deficiencies in calcium. They've gotten it completely ass backwards. So, now, if you have had calcium deficiencies so bad for so long that you've got kidney stones, then it is guaranteed you have other symptoms of calcium deficiency. So I'm just going to list the top 5 symptoms of calcium deficiencies, and I'm going to bet you 25 cents that you have at least one of these conditions going on. Okay, you ready? You want to play this game with me? You ready? You still there, Michael?
Yep, I sure am. I'm right here.
All right, very, very good. It's hard for me to know on this end. All right, so high blood pressure is a calcium deficiency. Do you have high blood pressure?
No, I don't have that.
All right, how about chronically bad teeth? How many cavities or root canals do you have?
I've had one cavity in my life.
Any root canals or false teeth?
No.
Okay. How old are you, by the way, Michael?
48.
Okay. How about arthritis or any type of rheumatic condition like, pain in the low back, pain in the knee, pain in the joint, pain in the shoulder, any type of arthritic or pre-arthritic condition?
I've never had any before. No, I haven't.
Okay. How about restless legs at night in bed?
No. Not my legs. Sometimes I have difficulty going back to sleep, but, when I wake up.
All right.
I haven't had restless legs or anything like that.
All right. And is it easy or hard for you to fall asleep?
Not usually, but occasionally. Most of my difficulty comes when I wake up going back to sleep.
So you'll sleep for a couple of hours and then you wake up and you're wide awake?
Yeah, and it'll take me a long time to go back to sleep. I usually don't have trouble going to sleep initially, but occasionally I do. Most of it's from, staying awake after I do wake up.
Yeah, and during the daytime, do you get sleepy after breakfast or lunch or dinner?
Sometimes after lunch would be the time.
Okay.
Early afternoon.
All right. And how about heartburn? Have you ever had heartburn?
No, I've never had trouble with that.
Okay. Well, it's interesting to me. There are over 278 diseases caused by not enough calcium. Over 278 diseases. How about bleeding gums? Has that ever been a problem, or is it hard for your blood to clot once you've been cut, or do you get gums that bleed easily when you floss or brush your teeth?
Occasionally when I floss, I do get gums that bleed. That happens occasionally. It's not a problem that's real often, but it occasionally happens.
Interesting. All right. So the inability the syndrome where you wake up in the middle of the night and then it's hard to fall back to sleep, accompanied by feeling sleepy after lunch on a regular basis. That's referred to as metabolic syndrome or syndrome X. It's a problem. It's like pre-type 2 diabetes, all right? It's a problem with your body's metabolizing sugar. Now, sugar isn't the enemy. It's your body's ability to metabolize it unless you're wharfing down massive amounts of sugar, right? So with most people in the U.S., they do overdo it with sugar, but really the biggest problem that we're finding here is the body doesn't have an ability to metabolize the sugar appropriately. And that's what makes you wake up in the middle of the night, and that's also what makes you fall asleep after lunch. Now, interestingly, blood sugar metabolism difficulty is also a mineral deficiency illness. It's caused by certain minerals that your body doesn't have, and there's about 27 of them. The two biggest players in that arena are chromium and vanadium. But let's go back to the kidney stone, all right? So the recommendation here to support and promote the structure and function of your kidney and your urogenital tract is to give your body adequate amounts of daily nutritional calcium, right? So when you start taking a calcium supplement that gives to your body bioavailable amounts of calcium in therapeutic doses, you won't form the kidney stone anymore. I mean, it'll just go away, because the whole parathormone storm thing disappears, because now your body has adequate amounts of calcium every day and life is good. So to help prevent the further formation of calcium stones, you need to be supplementing with a good calcium supplement every day, number one. And I'll tell you what that is in a second. Now, often when you have one or two kidney stones, there's more kidney stones in there. Have they done an ultrasound or hopefully not a CT scan, and they've told you that there are more stones in the kidneys, or don't you know?
They haven't. The one I passed in March, it passed in my urine, and the one I passed last week passed in my urine, but they haven't ever taken a picture of anything in there.
Yeah, okay. So there's an herbal tincture that you might want to pick up at the health food store. If you can't find it at the health food store, do an online search for an herbal tincture called Berberis vulgaris. You spell that B like baby, E, R like Roger, and then again B like baby, E, R like Roger, I, S like Sam, Berberis, B-E-R-B-E-R-I-S. Second word, vulgaris, V like Victor, U, L like Larry, G like Gary, A, R like Roger, I-S. Berberis vulgaris. It's an herbal tincture. Get, 8 ounces of the herbal tincture Berberis vulgaris and just keep it in the medicine cabinet. Now, the next time you start to pass a kidney stone, heaven forbid, it won't ever happen again, but if you've got a kidney stone, it's going to come out. You might have a couple more in there because that's usually how it goes. So if, heaven forbid, you do start to pass another kidney stone, the recommendation would be to put a tablespoon of the tincture of Berberis vulgaris in a little bit of water and drink it down 1 tablespoon every 20 minutes. Take 1 tablespoon orally of the tincture of Berberis vulgaris every 20 minutes, and that will facilitate the passage of the kidney stone so that you go through that experience in less time with less trauma, and it's less of a painful experience. I gave that protocol to a patient of mine a number of years ago when I was heavily involved in private practice, and he had a kidney stone that was so big they wanted to operate on it. And I gave him this protocol for 4 weeks, and he passed the kidney stone, didn't even know that he passed it. Didn't even know that he passed it. They were prepping him, doing the preoperative surgery stuff, and they did an ultrasound again, and the kidney stone was gone. And it blew everybody's mind because it was so big, and he passed it without problem. The Berberis really opens up the ureter, which is the vessel in the body that goes from the kidney to the bladder, which is what the stone has to travel through. And as it dilates the ureter, it makes the stone pass very, very easily through it. So I would get a bottle of that and keep it in your back pocket. Now, to support and promote the health of your kidney moving forward, So this doesn't happen again. The recommendation is easy. For you, it would be one Healthy Start Pack 2.0. It's the newest version of Youngevity's Healthy Start Pack. One Healthy Start Pack 2.0 and one bottle of Osteo FX Plus. One Healthy Start Pack 2.0 and one bottle of Osteo FX Plus per month. Do that for 90 days. Tell me how you feel, man. You're going to feel way better. The number to call to get that stuff at the wholesale price, 855-347-3696. That's 855-347-3696. Or, Michael from Oregon, if you were directed here by a friend, get in touch with the person who told you about this radio show, and they can order it for you. That way they'll get credit for the order, and life is good. Check it out, Michael. You're going to love how you feel. And as God is my witness, you don't know what you're missing. And we're taking it home here, ladies and gentlemen, in the last 5 minutes. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. I'm going to close it out with Carol from Nevada, who has a resting heart rate question. Say that 10 times fast. Hey, Carol. Thanks for calling up. You are live.
My call. It's my granddaughter, who is 1 year old. She weighs 22 pounds. She's 30 inches high. I talked to you about a month ago. You suggested she go to the chiropractor. My daughter's taken her 3 times and adjusted her ribs, and it was 142. And then she went to the doctor's office. Her heart rate was 135 at the doctor's office. She took the baby's heart rate while she's asleep, and it's 120, her resting heart rate. Her blood pressure at the doctor's office was 106/56, and the doctor said it should be down, her resting heart rate should be down to 100.
Well, what did he say about the blood pressure?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's an okay blood pressure. That's interesting. So, how old is this child?
She just turned 1 on July the 3rd.
Okay, and any other health issues?
No, she looks really healthy. She's chubby and happy and smiles. And
yeah, and has she been fully vaccinated?
Yes, I think so.
And did any of the heart rate issues happen immediately after the vaccination?
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah. See, that's what I would look into, because it just doesn't make sense to me that this should be happening in an otherwise, healthy child. And I'm assuming that they've done blood work and a kind of a full metabolic analysis to make sure that everything's in full functioning order, right?
Work the other day, and they thought it might be her thyroid, but then they called back on Friday and said no, it wasn't her thyroid.
Okay, so I would do, she's only 1, right? So I would do a little historical review. I would look to see, has it always been a high resting heart rate, or did it just kind of happen out of the blue?
I think it just happened because she took her in for 6 weeks, and then she took her in there 6 months, and it's just been in the last month that. Okay,
so look to see if, 5 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago they gave her a vaccine. Because where there's smoke, there's fire, and then if they did vaccinate her a couple of weeks or a couple of days before this started, you want to do an online search for that particular vaccine and look to see if an accelerated resting heart rate is a side effect of the vaccinations, because they often are. Now, you can also do a Google search for Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. She's a colleague of mine. She's been a guest on this radio show, and she is the go-to person for all information having to do with vaccinations in the United States. She has a ton of information on her website about vaccinations, their positive and their negative effects. So you can perhaps use the resources on her website to help you figure this out. But I would do a little investigating here. Something doesn't smell right to me, and when something doesn't smell right, it often has to do with some type of pharmaceutical intervention. So do a little history snooping around here, see if there was a vaccination relation. If there was, check it out, and call me back. Either way, if there was a vaccination relation or not, call me back, and I can help you dial in what to do here. But remember, what we do for everybody, regardless, is one healthy. How much does the child weigh?
She weighs 22 pounds. We've been giving her Tropical Plus.
Okay, and have you been giving her the liquid calcium as well?
No, my daughter's nursing her. She hasn't been giving her any
Is your daughter taking the liquid calcium?
Yes.
Okay, well, give the child a little bit of the liquid calcium, and so at 22 pounds, I would give her a teaspoon of the white liquid calcium once a day, a teaspoon of the white liquid calcium once a day, in addition to the Tropical Plus. Do a little investigating and call me back. Give her the liquid calcium. She needs it, and she's not going to get it just through the breast milk. Check it out. Thanks so much for calling, Carol. Thanks for following up. You know, we'll figure this out. The next thing I want you to do is the vaccination investigation or, you know, anything else they might have given her at her last doctor's visit. Check it out and call me back. I appreciate your support. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We're done for today. I will be back with you live on Thursday, God willing. Thursday, God willing. Traveling to the great state of Wisconsin tomorrow to give a lecture. I'll see you all on Thursday. Dr. Glidden, over and out.